He paused, letting the words sink in. The greatest threat may well be the weight of the mountain above us, but we will tread carefully. Let fear keep us sharp, but not paralyzed. The road ahead is perilous, but we have faced shadows before and endured. Nyx shifted slightly, his sharp eyes reflecting the fire's glow as he leaned forward. Vaeloris, he began, his voice quiet yet laced with curiosity. Do you know what happened to the fortress? What brought it to ruin? Vaeloris's gaze lingered upon the flickering flames, as though searching for answers in their restless dance. The tale of Tharok Thûm is a tragic one, he said. It happened in the early years of the 1st century, Vaeloris continued, his voice heavy with sorrow. Tharok Thûm stood for nearly 2,000 years, a bastion of dwarven might and grandeur. But one fateful summer night, ruin crept upon it. His gaze fell to the fire, the glow reflecting the sadness in his eyes.
Mountains crowned with golden light, rivers gleam like blades so bright. Dragons rise where dawn is born, breathing fire through skies reborn. Dwarfs beneath the stony halls, hammer echoes, anvils call, forging rings and blades of might. Their craft ignites the heart of night, where wonders dance and dragons fly. Magic paints the endless sky, mysteries carved in earth and stone, a realm that sings a world unknown. Hearts will race and dreams will soar, through lands unseen we'll find much more.
From the depths of the mountains came the goblins, an army, vast and merciless, led by their dark king. They poured through unseen tunnels, striking under the cover of night. The defenders of the fortress fought valiantly, but they were unprepared for such treachery. By dawn, Tharok Thûm had fallen. Of the 100,000 souls that called it home, only a handful survived to tell the tale. Vaeloris' voice wavered, and he bowed his head. The survivors carried their grief into the world and gave voice to their sorrow in song. It is an old lament, passed down through generations, and it bears the weight of their despair. Even now its words echo in my heart. He closed his eyes and softly, as though speaking to the night itself, began to sing.
Mountain high, halls of stone, where fathers carved their ancient throne. With fire's breath and hammer song, we built a home both proud and strong. Your river shone with molten gold, your pillars stood like gods of old. A crown of peaks, a heart so bright, you held us safe through endless night. But shadows stirred beneath the deep, 1,000 eyes that dared to creep. From cracks and pits their filth arose like poison through the mountain's bones. The drums of doom began to pound as goblin feet defiled the ground. Their shrieks like knives, their torches bled. They came to see our kinfolk dead. They filled the halls with fire's breath. They carved the walls with screams of death. Our children's cries, our banners torn, our dreams were slain before the morn. Yet stone and doors and flames still burn, our axes sharp, our hearts will churn. No goblin born shall die in peace, their curse but blood will never cease.
It still sounds in my head like I am there then, as she sang that song to me for the first time. He thinks to himself. He couldn't sing. No more tears rolled his cheeks through throat. Full of hurt, he spoke once more. We hunt them from dusk to dawn. No place is safe from hammer old. Their kin shall fall, their line be gone. We hunt them till the end of world. The fire crackled softly, filling the heavy silence that followed Vaeloris' lament. His voice, still trembling, faded into the night, leaving the group in solemn thought. Andreas shifted uncomfortably, breaking the stillness. But how could such a mighty fortress fall so quickly? Were the dwarves not prepared for war? Did no one see it coming? Vaeloris looked up, his emerald eyes shadowed with memory. Pride can blind even the wisest. The dwarves believed their walls were unbreachable and their forges eternal. They grew complacent, trusting in stone and steel, but neglecting the shadows beneath their feet. The goblins did not come with banners or horns. They came as whispers, as scratching claws in the dark, until it was too late to sound the alarm. Solara clutched her pendant, her voice soft yet troubled. And the survivors, what became of them? Vaeloris sighed. They scattered. Some fled into the mountains. Others sought refuge in distant lands. Few could bear the weight of their loss, and fewer still dared to speak of what they saw. But there were those who refused to bow to despair, those whose hearts burned with fury and a thirst for vengeance. He paused, his gaze lingering on the fire before continuing. From their grief, they forged a purpose, founding a guild bound by oath and steel, a mercenary order sworn to hunt the goblins that had defiled their home. If ever a village or hamlet suffered the scourge of goblin raids, and if coin could not buy the aid of adventurers like us, this guild would answer the call. No place was too distant, no threat too great. They would come, and the goblins would fall. Vaeloris' voice softened, heavy with emotion. The final lines of the song I sang, they are not merely words of grief, but the vow of that guild. Those who crafted the lament swore upon their axes and hammers that they would never rest until the blood of goblins ran dry and their kin were driven into oblivion. That oath still echoes through their ranks to this day. Nyx leaned closer, his expression sharp. And the goblins? They're still there, aren't they? Why haven't they taken the city completely? Vaeloris' eyes hardened. Perhaps they fear what remains. The mountain did not yield to them willingly. It shifted and groaned, sealing many of their tunnels and burying their kin. The goblins haunt the outskirts now, scavengers more than conquerors. But do not mistake their caution for weakness. If they catch us unprepared, they will show no mercy. The adventurers fell silent once more, each lost in thought as the firelight danced between them. The elf's words hung in the air, a chilling reminder of the dangers that awaited them beyond the forest's edge. Vaeloris looked upon the fire one last time before rising to his feet. His voice, though softer, carried the same weight of authority. Rest now, he instructed. The dawn will see us marching again, and the path ahead will not grow easier. Guard your strength and your resolve. The adventurers obeyed, unrolling their bedrolls beneath the stars, while the embers of the fire crackled softly, their glow fading with the night. When morning came, the company pressed forward once more, their steps steady as they descended into the valleys and wound through narrow forested paths. The day wore on beneath the sun's golden watch, the air growing cooler as the mountains drew nearer. By the time evening cast its amber light across the rugged terrain, the fortress of Tharok Thûm loomed before them. Its towering gates stood silent, carved from blackened stone, and the shadows of its walls stretched long against the earth. Vaeloris raised a hand, bringing the group to a halt. "We make camp here," he said, his voice low but resolute. "The fortress will wait until morning. We dare not enter now, for the night brings more than shadows to these halls." As the group unpacked and set their fire, their eyes turned to the darkened gates. The stillness of the ancient stronghold seemed to watch them in return, as though it too awaited what the morning light would reveal. As the fire crackled softly, casting long shadows across their camp, Andreas finally broke the silence. "Vaeloris," he began, his voice tinged with curiosity and unease. "Where exactly is this vault, and what are we expected to bring back from it?" Vaeloris' emerald eyes lifted from the flames, reflecting their glow as though drawing strength from the fire. "The vault lies deep within the heart of Tharok Thûm," he replied. "It was sealed by the dwarves in their final hours, locked away with treasures and artifacts that may yet outlive their makers." He paused, his gaze turning toward the dark silhouette of the fortress looming above them. "As for what we seek, it is not gold nor jewels that drive this quest, though such things may rest within. We are to bring back all that lies within the vault, whatever secrets the dwarves deemed worthy of preserving when ruin descended upon them. Be it relics of power, tools of craftsmanship, or records of their lost legacy, all must be recovered. Vaeloris let the weight of his words linger before adding, "What lies beyond those gates may test more than your strength. It may test your will and your resolve. Steel yourselves for what the dawn shall bring." When the first light of dawn touched the mountain peaks, Vaeloris stood before the group, his expression calm but resolute. "We leave the camp as it is," he said, motioning toward the tents and supplies. "It will serve us again when we return." He adjusted the straps of his pack and gazed toward the towering gates of Tharok Thûm. "If fortune favors us, we will complete this task swiftly. The vault lies several levels below the surface. Though the way will not be easy, much of the city has been broken by time and stone, and the paths are treacherous. But if the fates are kind, this will be no more than a day's journey there and back." The group tightened their belts and checked their weapons, the weight of the elf's words hanging over them. As they stepped through the massive archways of the fortress, the air grew heavier, the scent of earth and dust thick around them. The first halls were vast and echoing, their pillars carved with ancient runes and reliefs of dwarven kings and warriors. Light streamed faintly through cracks in the stone, illuminating faded murals of battles and feasts. Andreas ran his fingers along one of the carvings, awe evident in his eyes. "It's beautiful," he murmured. Silara's voice followed, softer but touched with reverence. "It feels alive somehow, as if the walls are remembering." Nyx, however, remained alert, his sharp gaze flickering between shadows. "Beautiful, yes, but too quiet," he muttered. "A place this grand should not feel so empty." Vaeloris paused, his eyes scanning the dark corners. "You are right to be wary. Beauty does not banish danger. Keep your senses sharp."
Ancient forests, vast and wide, elves who walk with trees as guides, children born of bark and leaves, guardians where the magic breathes, seas that churn with beasts untamed, depths where kraken stakes its claim, icy realms where frost won't fade, cast in time the gods have made. Get through fire, brave the seas, follow stars and ancient keys. Every answer waits inside a world where endless dreams collide, where wonders dance and dragons fly. Magic paints the endless sky, mysteries carved in earth and stone, a realm that sings a world unknown.
And if you're still here, thank you, and I hope I see you soon. Please like, subscribe, and cheer me on in the comments.